The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) condemns the brutal murder of one of its staff members and calls for speedy investigations into the matter. 3 people feared dead following a collision involving 2 public service vehicles, PSVs, along the Murang'a-Kenol Highway. Welcome to the program. My name is Bentura Komboka, and our sign language interpreter this afternoon will be Rose Waweru. And 4 young Kenyans who abducted in December of 2024 have been reunited with their families. This morning, the families of Belle Mwangi, Peter Muteti, Bernard Kavoli and Ronnie Kiplagat confirmed that they had been in contact with their loved ones. Kiplagat, abducted in Nairobi, was found in Machakos County, while Kavoli, who was abducted in Ngong, found in Kitale. Peter Muteti was found in Nairobi CBD, as his family reports that he is disoriented and now recovering from home. The whereabouts of 2 others, including prominent cartoonist Kibet Bull and Steve Mbesi, remains unknown. And 24-year-old college student and a blogger Belle Mwangi has been reunited with his family after enduring a traumatic 15 days abduction ordeal. Mwangi, who was abducted on December 21, 2024 by hooded men at a barbershop in Embu Town, returned to his family's Majengo home early this morning. The emotional reunion, marked by tears of joy and ululation from family and neighbors, has brought relief to a community that had rallied for his safe return. However, Mwangi remains under medical observation as his ordeal has left him physically and emotionally shaken, with local leaders and family calling for justice and clarity on circumstances of his abduction.
Tumefurahi na bibi yangu, furaha ambayo mpaka saa hii we have not recovered from that happiness, because it was really a trauma. But now that he has come, hiyo mambo yote ya shida na nini, let us just keep it behind us.
Tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu mtoto alikuja saa 2, nisikia mtu kwa gate mtoto anaitana, "Mama, fungua." Sasa ndio nikafungua, nikaona is okay. Hapo kwingine Mungu anajua tu.
Tumepiga kelele mpaka ikasikika na ikaweza ya kwamba tumempata Billy akiwa hai. Na of course kwanza ni kushtumu with all the strongest ones possible, the abduction, the abductors and anybody engaged in this shenanigan of kidnapping our son. Lakini pia ni kusema ni kwa sababu ya Mwenyezi Mungu ya kwamba huyu kijana ataendelea na maisha yake.
And Naivasha Member of Parliament Jen Kihara and Gilgil Member of Parliament Mathe Wangari have accused the government of being complicit in the ongoing abductions and killings of youths, calling out President William Ruto for broken promises and contradictory statements. Speaking at AIPCI Church in Kihara, Kinamba, the 2 MPs alleged that the government was behind the incident and criticized the president for failing to act despite his powers. Wangari urged the president to honor his pledges to end abductions, describing the insecurity as alarming. Both MPs condemned Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah's remarks, suggesting the abductions were self-organized, terming them reckless and insensitive.
Na wale ambaye wapendetekwa nyara na hawajapatikana mauti ama wakiwa wazima, we want them. Watoto wetu wawache kuuawa kiholela. Hiyo katuni anachora ni ile mnasema content creation. Akiko create, tumecreate ya Moi, tulicreate ya Kibaki, tulicreate ya Uhuru, na hakuna yule aliuawa watoto. You cannot tell us that the police is independent when we know It is the government that is behind these killings.
Mama anakaa nyumbani, hajui mtoto wake ako wapi for a month. Hawezi kuwa na amani. Hiyo sheria iko, wacha nao judiciary wafanye yao. Mtoto akija mbele yako, kama amekosea na sheria iko, we must take a responsibility. Na vile president ameambia watu kwamba hizi abductions zitaisha. Tunatumai zitaisha. Sababu that is not the way to rule ama to lead a country. Hiyo si haki. Na the reason hata sisi tulisimama, ukiona tukisimama na Gachagua personally, ni sababu haikuwa haki. Kama ingekuwa haki, labda tungesema yes. Lakini haikuwa haki.
And away from that, a section of youths from Mount Kenya region have come out guns blazing, calling out former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua over his remarks on the return of Mungiki. The youths say they find it outrageous that Gachagua, who is seeking to unite the mountain, will brand prayer meetings by the youths and re-emergence of the sect. They are branding Gachagua as an enemy of the Gen Z movement while vowing to continue conducting the prayer meetings.
Rigathi Gachagua. Words of hate, disgust for the values that we hold dear as patriots of this nation. The recent remarks by Mr. Rigathi Gachagua have left us, the youth from Mount Kenya region, deeply concerned of the leader who was once entrusted with the responsibility to unite and his capacity to do so. In his recent remarks, he has indicated that the region, the mega prayers that we had in the region at was ill-intended. He also accused the young people from the region of burglary activities after the meeting, labeling all the youth in Mount Kenya as criminal gang. He proceeded by accusing the youth of Mount Kenya of having committed crimes in the early 1990s. We want to bring the following to his attention. 1. The meeting was aimed at praying together and solidifying our unity as the people of Mount Kenya region and was meant for all patriotic Kenyans. 2. The move to label Mount Kenya youth as criminal is backwardness, outdated, retrogressive mediocrity of the highest order. 3. That the Mount Kenya youth, majorly the Gen Zs, hadn't been born at that time that he claims the gang existed. Further to this, if history serves us right, we only read of atrocities committed by a former DEO to the people of Molo. 4. The hardworking young people from the region deserve a leader who will nurture and create employment and entrepreneurial opportunities that would impact their future positively, not from a constantly impeached person whose character revolves around hate, incitement, malice, and division. To the impeached DP, we want to demand that you apologize and withdraw your reckless remarks. And further, refrain, and I want to repeat, refrain from returning us to the dark days where youth were being profiled and denied the opportunity to live up to the fulfillment of their dreams.
And the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has called for speedy investigations into the murder of acting Kilifi Elections manager Aisha Akinyi, who was killed on Saturday at her home. In a statement, IEBC CEO Marjan condemned the incident and the perpetrators behind Aisha's death. Before her death, Aisha had worked with IEBC since 2012, initially starting as a constituency election coordinator for Nyali. She rose through the ranks and eventually became the county elections manager. Her 18-year-old son Kasim Hassan was also injured while attempting to defend his mother. And Bernard Kavuli, one of those abducted nearly 2 weeks ago, has reportedly been found in Moy's Bridge along the Eldoret-Kitale Highway. Kavuli is expected to be taken to Ngong Police Station, where a report will be filed. And now we are joined by our reporter Ian Kaitanyi, who's at Ngong. Good afternoon, Ian Kaitanyi. Do you have more details on how he was found?
Very much, Bentura Kwamboka. Like you've rightly put it, I am at the Ngong Police Station in Ngong, Kajiado County, where one of those who were abducted, that is Bernard Kavuli, is expected to be brought here after being found along the Eldoret-Kitale Highway, to be specific, in Moy's Bridge. Now, one would wonder why would he be brought here after being found in Moy's Bridge, but the fact is he was abducted in Ngong Town, and the moment I got into this particular police station, there was a photo hanged in at the inquiry's desk. That is the photo of Bernard Kavuli, because the missing person report was filed here at the Ngong Police Station. Remember, Kavuli is among the 6 boys who were abducted weeks ago. His last tweet on his X platform being on the 22nd of December 2024. That is close to 14 days ago. His whereabouts remaining unknown. Now, I spoke to the sister, that is Mary Kavuli, and she told and confirmed to me that indeed they have spoken with Bernard Kavuli and is being brought to this particular police station from Moy's Bridge. And at the moment, she said they were along the Eldoret-Nakuru highway on their way to this particular police station. Now, one thing that has been, of course, going on is that today the demonstrations that were calling for the release of those who've been abducted, were abducted last year, was scheduled to go on. And this particular morning, we saw 4 of those who were abducted and where their whereabouts were still unknown being released. That is, of course, Bernard Kavuli, like I said, Peter Muteti, Billy Mwangi, and one Ronnie Kiplagat, the brother to Kibet Bull. Kibet Bull himself, the cartoonist, is yet to be found alongside Steve Mbisi. So we are just pitching tent right here at the Ngong Police Station. Earlier on, the OCS of this particular police post did come out, and he indeed he told us to, as well, you know, just wait for the Bernard Kavuli to, arrive here so that we would get more information in regards to what happened, where has he been. Remember, this comes at a time when the government has adamantly denied any allegations of being involved in the abductions of this particular young man on social media. And yesterday we saw allies of the president, led by one Oscar Sudi, the member of parliament for Kapseret constituency, and the likes of Kamket from Tiati constituency, saying that the government should not condone any criticism from social media. They say that indeed there is need to look at the laws here in the country in regards to the Cyber Crimes Act. And we saw the Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen last week talking about that as well, saying that the social media is being misused here in the country. But questions have been raised regarding whether abductions is the way to deal with such cases, because according to Senate Speaker Amason Jeffa Kingi, those who continue to use social media in a bad way, according to them, being criticizing the government not using the right way or in the wrong way, should be face the law. But the question is abductions a part of the law? So that is the big question, even as Kenyans continue to pressure the government to release those who've been abducted. We've seen former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua saying the government should be held accountable. We saw how leaders clashed during the burial of the mother to the House Speaker, that is Moses Wetangula, and Westlands MP Tim Wanyonyi, with leaders clashing. We saw Kimani Ichung'wah saying former Deputy President should be held accountable, and of course a war of words between him and the governor of Trans Nzoia County, George Natembeya, in regards to who should be held accountable. But at the end of the day, the government has been pressured, and the pressure continues to mount for the release of those who've been abducted. We'll, of course, pitch tent here to just make sure we get to see Bernard Kavuli himself and hear from him where has he been and who has he been with for the past 14 weeks, even as we wait for the whereabouts of the remaining 2 abductees, that is Kibet Bull and one Steve Mbisi. Bentura, back to you.
Well, thank you, Ian Kaitanyi, for that update. I definitely will be getting back to you later on. And the Ministry of Education has announced approximately 93% of grade 9 classrooms are ready and complete for occupancy as schools reopen for a new term. The new and the first cohort of grade 9 students begins their classes today. However, while some schools have fully completed classrooms, others will face delays in accessing proper infrastructure. In this these cases, students will have to study in congested classrooms until the necessary facilities are completed and operational. So far, 13,500 classes have been completed out of the required 16,000.
The 11,000 that we are doing as Ministry of Education and the 3,000 that has already been done by CDF, that those ones, most of them, and we are calling it phase 1 and phase 2, most of those ones, within the next 14 days, they will be done. We might be consolidating on classrooms. There will be congestion for a short while, which is going to support us. In some situations, even where the congestions may not allow, we can have a multi-shift within the time, where when there is a class that is having outdoor activities, then within that time, another group can be optimizing on the classroom. So that within this short time of the next 30 days, we make sure that we don't disrupt learning. We work within the resources that is available to us so that our children do not suffer.
And 3 people have died and several others injured in a grisly accident that occurred this morning on the Murang'a-Kenol Highway. The tragic incident involving a Murang'a shuttle and Nakon's Sacco Matatu took place at the Wanji corner area after the Nakon's vehicle, reportedly speeding and overtaking, collided head-on with the shuttle, sending it plunging into the Gathamba River. Survivors say warnings to the driver went unheeded. The injured were rushed to Murang'a County Referral Hospital where they are receiving treatment. As students return to school, drivers have been urged to adhere to traffic regulations and prevent accidents.
Kwa nimetoka Nairobi kuelekea Ulaya. Sasa tukifika Murang'a, driver alikuwa ameva speed ya Nakons. Akashindwa kudhibiti hiyo gari. Kagonga hii ingine. Sasa hapo ndio tukafurika ikaingia kwa mto.
Tulipata accident asubuhi masaa ya saa 12 asubuhi tukienda Nairobi. Tulikuwa kwa matatu ya Murang'a Shuttle. The driver was not speeding. Driver wa Murang'a Shuttle hakuwa anakimbia sana, lakini kuna gari ilitoka pande ile pale kwa kona mahali kunaitwa Waji. Matatu ingine ika approach, ilikuwa speed kubwa sana. Sasa huyu driver yetu akajaribu kumuondokea, bahati mbaya akashindwa. So sikagongana head on.
Juzi wamegonga mtu wa bodaboda pale barabara ya Kiriaini, walikuwa wawili. Bodaboda ilikuwa inaenda na Kiriaini na Nissan ilikuwa inaenda na Kiriaini. Akaenda ku overtake bodaboda. Person ikatokea akapita na watu wa bodaboda, hata mwezi jaisha wakagonga mtu mwingine wa parcel.
Sasa tungeomba serikali kama hizo magari haina governor iangaliwe msuri juu sasa hiyo accident isipatikane tena.
Well, and at this point we take a break here at K24 News Connect. I'll see you in a short while.
Of emotions, relationships.
Kumbe mama, ulikuwa unafikiria kuolewa tena? Yaani unijaleta kidogo, wewe ni mbaya.